Ayo, ayo, ayo. What's up, everybody? How are you doing? Welcome back to the Standard 81 podcast. My name is Sincere, and we are back again with another episode. But before we get started, let's go ahead and take a quick 30-second break, and I'll be back with you in a few moments here in 3, 2, and we are back. And ladies and gentlemen, we are here with a good one. This one is going to be called Propaganda is Causing You to Fail. Once again, propaganda is causing you to fail. But before we get into it, go ahead and hit that like button, give me that thumbs up. And then subscribe if you haven't already. That's going to help this channel grow and get out to more people, as well as comment down below and share it with somebody that you think needs to hear it. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get into it. Once again, this is called Propaganda is Causing You to Fail. Why do I want to talk about this? Because a lot of what's put out in the media, the news, social media, is propaganda. It is trying to get you to believe or trying to inform you of something that may not be true or may be put out for the simple cause of trying to get everybody aboard a particular idea or some type of particular information. But just like I do, I am a big proponent of what words mean. So let's go ahead and look up the word propaganda. All right. So here it is. The word propaganda means this: the spreading of ideas, information, or rumors for the purpose of causing or helping an institution or a person or a particular cause. Facts, ideas, allegations deliberately spread in order to further one's cause or to damage the opponent's cause. All right, that is the definition of the word propaganda. Now, let's notice in there, it didn't say it was just false ideas, right? Because a lot of people, when they think something is when you hear the word propaganda, you automatically associate it with false. Not necessarily. The thing that you're propagating doesn't necessarily have to be untrue. What it can be is a deliberate, once again using the definition of the word, a deliberate oversaturation of something that you are trying to push forward, an agenda, right? And why do I say it is causing you to fail? Well, here's what's happening in life. The more you hear people speak about something, the more you think it's true, right? Until somebody comes along and says something different and then begins to speak that, right? But if it's something that is untrue, what it's going to do is cause you to go backwards instead of forward. And in today's propaganda, you see that it is causing us to go backwards instead of forward. Right? You say there is no propaganda that moves forward. You lie. The message of the gospel in and of itself is propaganda. Now, once again, let's read the definition so you guys don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Because I can already hear y'all coming from, the gospel is not propaganda. The gospel is the gospel. Uh, one more time. The spreading of ideas, information, or rumors for the purpose of helping one's cause. All right. The gospel. The gospel. Jesus Christ rose from the grave to save. He died on the cross, rose from the grave to save the world from their sins, so that you can inherit eternal life and be forever in heaven with God. That is something that Jesus required people who believe in him to spread worldwide, and and from that create people, disciples, who would then do the same, replicate the same message. If that's not the literal definition of the word propaganda, I don't know what is. But that's not bad propaganda. That's good. That's good information being spread, but the problem is, as human beings, we gravitate more towards the negative. So when we hear something like all men are dangerous and you should stay away from it, and you hear it long enough, and it gets cycled long enough over media, social media, and the news, you begin to believe it even if you haven't experienced it yourself. You begin to believe the very message that they put out, the information that they put out. And what they'll do is back it up with statistics that make it sound overly I'm looking for a word, overly saturated than it actually is. And now you are fearing something. Now you are pushing something. Now you have an agenda to do something that is not even at large. Now, am I disqualifying some of this stuff? No, I'm not. But what I am saying is, the more you can literally put something in people's mind and continue to show them something, then that's what they're going to gravitate towards. Let's look at some more propaganda, right? Let's look at the sexual imagery and the ideology in which young women are being pushed, which young women are being pushed on young women. You see OnlyFans models being glorified. You see strippers being glorified. You see female rappers talk about nothing but money and sex and drugs. And I'm not here to sit there and say that men don't do it, because I'm gonna get around to that. But what is it causing? What is this causing the young ladies to do? Well, it's causing them to do the very same things that we say, that people say they're against, and they're moving towards it more rapidly, because it is now, and that messaging, that information, those ideas are now being pushed out there at such a rapid pace that after a while you hear it so much, you see it so much, you begin to think it's true. And not only do you begin to think it's true, you begin to think it should be good because you hear it so much. But really what it's causing you to do is regress instead of progress. You say, how do you? Well, let's look at the statistics. Let's look at how many divorces there are out there. Let's look at how many single mother homes there are out there. Let's look at the birth rate. Let's look at abortion. Let's look at education. Let's look at a myriad of different things to see what is happening out there. Men are being told that in order to be an alpha male, it's simply about getting your money up and getting into the gym and rah, 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 and Make sure that your woman is submissive and blah, 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 blah. Which I'm not against none of this. Please, guys, don't let's be for real. I'm not against none of some of these things that are being said are true. But what makes a person a person? What makes a man a man? What makes a woman a woman? Is it this messaging that you are being told? Or is it the characteristics behind that person? Is it the integrity? Is it the values? Is it the morals? Is it the things that they believe in and stand by that make them? Or is it what we have been told is right, or the information that we have been given that says you're this, you're that, when you do this, that, and the other? And seeing as how the climate of the day, where people are unwilling to educate themselves beyond their interest, which I'm part of this. I'm part of this thing too, because sometimes I am not willing to educate myself beyond interest because it just doesn't appeal to me. But I'm starting to understand you should know at least a little bit about a little bit about a little bit, because it can help you understand the mindset of people. But when you refuse to educate yourself on history, on what's current events and the things that are going on around in the world today, you begin to believe anything. And all it takes is a little push. And all it takes is somebody to continue to say something and it sounds right. I hate to mention this, but I'm going to mention it. Hitler couldn't have been successful if he didn't have the propaganda that he used. Now, mind you, I am not here to applaud him for what he did, because what he did was despicable and disgusting. But the reason so many people backed him and the reason so many people got on board with what he was saying is because the propaganda that was put out there and constantly reaffirmed to them was that Jews are bad. They don't have any rights. They deserve to be done for. It's the same thing that's happening today. This is bad. It doesn't have any rights. It deserves to be done for. Now, some of the stuff that we're putting out there is fair and it's right. Like equal treatment. Equal treatment. Everybody deserves to be viewed as a good person, a valid citizen, and deserves fair treatment amongst the law. I believe in that 100%. Is that propaganda? Absolutely. But is it a propaganda I can get behind? Yes. Because human decency shouldn't have to be something that we ask for. Now, some of the other stuff that is entailed with all that, I have some debates about. Because now you're not just talking about human decency. You're not just talking about being respected. You're talking about overshadowing other things in order to get what it is you want to get. So you use this as an advocate for that. And it's causing us to slip back into generalizations of people, tribal instincts, segregation, manipulation, anything that you can think. And here we are, just like Just like the Roman Empire, at one of the most technologically advanced societies there is now. We're making more technological advances now than at any point in human history. And we're still advancing more and more. But it seems as though the people who live on this planet seem to be out of control, and they seem not to be using what God gives them naturally in order to think about things and create opinions of their own. We just follow what everybody says. Oh, women are bad, so don't do this, don't do this. Men are bad, don't do this, don't do this. This, don't do that, don't do. Okay, let me get off the whole relationship thing and relate this to another point, right? Check this out. I was once a personal trainer, right? I work out now about 3 to 4 days a week. And at one time, I used to work out five to six. Why did I? Now, only reason I cut back, and let me say this: the only reason I cut back to from 5 to 6 to 3 to 4 is because I started to realize two things. Number one, I didn't have enough time to let my body recover properly from all the exercising that I was doing, and two, it wasn't really helping me to grow. I cut back, and now when I go to the gym, I feel reinvigorated. I feel ready to go because now my body is so. But for the longest time, I had heard, oh, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't that, and you shouldn't do that, and you shouldn't eat this and you shouldn't eat that, and it's all over the internet. It's all over social media. You're being told, don't do this and don't do that and do this and do that and do this. And after a while, I was just, and I'm taking this from my own space. This is propaganda we're talking about. After a while, I'm just like, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And after a while, I just turned it all off. And I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if it works. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to educate myself on further on how I should be moving. And come to find out, I was right. Does this mean that everything I was told was wrong? No. But it was overload. I was overloaded with so much information and be told what this is and what this is, that I started to regurgitate it to other people. And then when I was in personal training, I went from you got to do this or you got to do that, and I was telling every one of my clients this, to then saying we need to find something that suits what you can do and what you can be consistent with. Something that's going to fit your lifestyle. Here's the bare bone basics of what you should be doing. Here's the framework. Here's the foundation. I'm going to give you the foundation, but then now that we have the foundation laid, we can start figuring out the building blocks of how you're going to create your particular fitness journey and your workout dynamics. But had I left it to clients, had I left it to myself to figure things out, they would have been overwhelmed. Because there's so much out there that tells you, oh, you should do this and you should do that and you should do this and you should have this and you should have that. And that after a while, it's just annoying. And you don't know what to believe no more. This is the same thing that's causing us to regress. This is the same thing that's causing us to fail. There is an agenda out there that wants to keep us from recognizing the most important stuff. You need to have money. You need to have this. You need to have in order to make your life better. But here's the funny thing. The people that have all this stuff, do their lives seem any more lively than yours? Now let's be realistic. Let's not talk about the trips. Let's not talk about the amount of clothes or cars or anything. Let's just look at what's happening. Diddy right now is under investigation. And by all framework, he's got it all. Pastors are being investigated. And by all framework in the religious community, because you know I am a Christian, they have it all. But we're not focusing on what's important. What is life for you? Are you going to continue to follow the propaganda that's causing you to fall apart? Anxiety is on the incline, depression is on the incline, suicide is on the incline, and yet we keep on rolling out all this different information, telling people you got to believe this and you got to believe that and you got to believe this. But then we'll contradict ourselves and say people in general are mostly good, but then we'll believe the hype, the propaganda that's out there. We're either going to come back to focus, come back to the foundation, and start making up our own minds about what is going on, or we're going to continue this steep decline. We're going to see men battling against women. We're going to see women battling against men. We're going to see one culture battle against the other culture. We're going to see infighting within culture. None of this should be happening. Now, mind you, let me talk as a Christian real quick. I know a lot of this comes from sin nature. We are selfish, we are greedy, we are liars, we are everything that God has told us not to be because of our sin nature. But at some point, you got to wake up. You got to say, enough is enough. You got to start looking back, not only at history, historical history, but your history. What is your life saying? And is it moving you more towards the goals that you aspire to, or is it moving you further away? Because my guess is probably it's moving you further away. And most people would say, "Oh yeah, I got a good job. I got tons of money. Cool. I'm gonna give you a scenario. Let's just say, God forbid, in the next 2 years, the U.S. and every other nation is at war. How much is that career and all that money you accumulated really going to mean if you are once again locked down and we are put in a police state? Ain't going to mean a hill of beans at that point because you're not going to be able to travel. You're not going to be able to. How much stuff are you going to be able to fit in that big house before you look like a hoarders? Before you look like hoarders, How long are you willing to go along with something before you start saying, hey, man, this ain't working no more? I believe in trying new things. But when you obviously see something is not working, it's best to let it go before it kills you. And at this point, I am willing to say without a shadow of a doubt that the things that we have been saying and doing out here as a nation, as a people, as men and women is not working. We keep on following all these protocols. We keep on getting all this information, and nobody is being any more successful than anybody else. The rich are continuing to be rich, the poor continue to be poor, and now they're saying to the middle class person, you either come up here with all of us, or we gonna put you down in the poor category. We better get it right, man. And you know my solution. I'm gonna tell you my solution from the go. I say that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And if you follow him, you will not have problems like that. You will always have peace in situation. Will there be trouble? Yes. Will you go through situations? Yes. Because this is life and it's going to rain on the just and the unjust. But you will always have peace. You will always have the things that you need. You will always be in a place of contentment because you know the end from the beginning. You know what's going to happen. Let's put it to you this way. If you knew what was going to happen at the end of your life, if you did it one way or the other, how would you reframe your life? How different would your life be? I know mine's is completely changed. Now to the outside world, it doesn't look like I'm doing much of nothing. I'm doing what everybody else is doing. I'm trying to be an influencer, and I'm doing YouTube, and I built a podcast, and blah 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 blah, and I'm working a regular job, and but the inside, on the inside, my character, who I am, my personality, the way I walk, I talk, and I speak, that has changed dramatically. I don't care if you don't recognize it because that's not important. What I need you to see is the change in me. I don't need you to see all the stuff that I have. I don't need you to know about all the things that I have accomplished. Unless those things that I have accomplished help change your life and bring you more towards Christ, then I don't need you to know about it. Because at the end of the day, my accomplishments and all the stuff that I've done is not going to save you from the end. Once again, I would just be another form of propaganda that's leading you ultimately to your demise. So, guys, here's how I'm going to wrap this up. It's best for us to figure out who it is we are and where it is we want to go. And then after that, figure out how to get there. Let's stop thinking with let's stop thinking about only the stuff that they tell us to think about. And let's think beyond that. Let's use our rational skills, our minds, our logic, the brain, the intelligence that God has given each and every one of us to look beyond what people are selling us and telling us is important and really find the truth. And that's all I really want to say. Everybody, once again, hit that thumbs up for me. Yeah, go ahead and like that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with somebody who you think needs to hear this message. And once again, comment down there. Let me know what you think. Type second watch in there if you're watching this after the live. And I will see you all on the next one. God bless. Have a good day. Peace.